Peoples, good afternoon. It is Monday, March 11th, and I am here with your geopolitical news. I'm on a YouTube platform on Al Jazeera English channel. As you can see from the title and the description, Israel's culture annihilation of Gaza. So I'm going to play some of this. We're going to do a reaction video of sorts. We're going to react to some of the information that's being said inside this video. And then I'm going to give my take on it at the end.
To understand the scale of destruction in Gaza today, one needs to understand the nature of the war Israel has launched against Palestinians. We're not talking about conventional warfare. This is a war of annihilation that targets the foundations of society. We've seen.
Now, I want to stop the video right here for a second because as you pay close attention to what you're seeing, it's not just what's being said. I need you to actually pay attention to the images that you see because an intellectual thinking individual will bring himself or herself to the conclusion that there's no way that you can be hunting or targeting an individual group, but yet inflict so much devastation. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to making sense. And this is the problem. The devastation and destruction of infrastructure, the killing of innocent civilians, it does not match up to what it is that's being said about the military campaign and it being solely targeted towards what is being called the militant group Hamas, terrorist group Hamas. I do not hold the same sentiment for this group. I view them as freedom fighters. Hamas, the freedom fighters. So no matter what side you stand on as it relates to what Hamas is, your intellect should bring you to the conclusion that there's no way that you can be conducting a military campaign targeting a single group and cause so much destruction in the process. It just doesn't add up.
Universities bombed, libraries, museums. Israel is trying to prevent Palestinians from reclaiming and re-establishing life in Gaza as they knew it.
And it will absolutely do that because when you see the destruction, when you see the rubble and people looking for loved ones underneath the rubble, and then to know that Israel doesn't allow construction crews to enter the city of Gaza. They don't allow such a thing because they've said in the past that the group Hamas has been taking the construction tools and construction necessities and been using it for their own purposes. So they're saying that, the dump trucks with the cement and all of this, whatever may have you, that is used for construction, constructing infrastructure, buildings, hospitals, all of these different things. They're saying that Hamas was using these things to build their own infrastructure. And so they stopped letting construction crews go inside the city of Gaza. So not only have you destroyed and annihilated this city, but the rebuilding of it won't happen unless you authorize it. And this is where we stand today.
My name is Jihad Abu Salim. I'm from the city of Deir al-Balah, located in the middle of the Gaza Strip. It's where I grew up and spent most of my life. Gaza City was the only Palestinian coastal city that was not conquered by Zionist militias in 1948. And that gave Gaza huge significance and placed it as the beating heart of preserving Palestinian nationalism and furthering the Palestinian cause for.
So it was the only place that wasn't colonialized in the 1940s. And so the place, Gaza, was actually sovereign in some aspects, probably in most aspects. And so there's a push and a pull in a lot of regions and a lot of countries around the world where you have policies and the viewpoints of the West and its allies, and then everyone else being on the opposing side. How is this 60% of the schools have been destroyed? 60%. So, how are the children supposed to learn? Where will the children be taught? You know, this is something these are the questions that have to be asked. So, not only is there a military campaign going on inside the city of Gaza, not only do you have the death and destruction that you have, but what about life moving forward? What about the children who are still living? What have they gone through since the beginning of this conflict? Does anyone care about the mental capacity of these children? Does anyone care?
By destroying universities, museums, libraries, and archives, Israel seeks to make our memory, whether it's collective, institutional, inaccessible. It's an assault on.
It's also a way for the Israelis and anyone else that chooses to do so, especially if they are in control of rebuilding Gaza. It is an opportunity for the colonialists, the racist regimes, the genocidal military of Israel. It is an opportunity for the Israeli government to change the narrative, to rewrite history. Because if you totally destroy a place and you destroy a people, then as time goes along and people live and die and things of this nature, you can begin to rewrite history in an aspect of rewriting it in a way where you just change things, change how things happen, change the amount of people that it happened to, even change the ownership of the land and everything in between. And so this is being done and this has been conducted on many different levels.
Continuity. They want to force people out of Gaza, but also they want to make sure that if people return to Gaza, they find nothing. And
Exactly. That's what they want to ensure, that first and foremost, they want you dead and they want you gone. That's first and foremost. But if ever you just so happen to return, if ever you decide that you want to come back to that place, well, there will be nothing there. And the only thing that will be there is what they build of anew.
Dwell for eternity in this limbo of nothingness, in this void. Gaza's old city, with its mosques like Al Umari or a church like the Church of Saint Porphyrius, testifies to Palestine's complex and multifaceted history. Al Umari Mosque is the second oldest mosque in Palestine after Al Aqsa Mosque. And from the footage that we've seen, it seems that the mosque was deliberately targeted because there are photos that show surrounding buildings standing intact, while the mosque has been bombed to smithereens. So Israel is trying to impose a rupture between the present and the past.
That goes back to the commentary, that goes back to my previous statements and so many of my previous videos. This is what you would categorize as war tactics. So you're creating scenarios to then ensure a certain outcome. And this is what you're doing. And this is what you've been doing since the beginning of the war. And this is what you'll continue to do. Even as the holy month of Ramadan has begun, you're still attacking civilians. You're still attacking praying Muslims, which is it's not just appalling. You understand? It's not just disrespectful. It's actually a violation and an act of war and aggression towards myself, towards you as well.
And of course, the future. And destroying an iconic structure like Al Umari Mosque is just part of that effort. The goal of targeting Gaza's archives is to make it impossible for people to rebuild and reclaim what has been lost. We not only lose historical documents, but also land deeds, land registration, infrastructure plans, and schemes. Now we hear all these reports of people going back to their neighborhoods and being unable to recognize where the street that they lived on was located, where their homes.
And that's what I just said previously. You know, the whole landscape will change. And not only will the landscape change, but ownership of certain said land will change as well. And so those of you who previously owned land, own homes, own property, own whatever you own, you no longer own it. It's no longer yours. Through this military campaign, everything inside the city of Gaza will be seized. And the only way that it will be returned is if there's some type of diplomatic resolution to this situation where Palestinians actually gain control of Gaza again. But many people don't see that happening.
Where, and they think that by destroying institutions or archives or looting museums, they can destroy Gaza as a place and therefore prevent people from returning there or reestablishing their life.
And let me be clear. When I say that many people don't see that happening again, where Palestinians will be in control of Gaza again, that very well might not happen again. But what will absolutely not happen is that there will be a total annihilation or destruction, or Hamas, the freedom fighting group, will cease to exist. That right there, that statement, that thought is just preposterous. Is nothing that could be further from the truth, further from reality. As I keep saying to you in videos, and I will keep saying this to you, the military campaign, the definite destruction, it is ensuring The exact opposite. It is ensuring that Hamas, the freedom fighting group, it will never die. It will never cease to exist. It will always exist and it will always thrive, especially in the hearts and the minds of Palestinians.
Gaza and its district have suffered a lot in terms of the targeting and destruction of historic and heritage sites. After 1967, after Gaza became under Israeli occupation, Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Dayan built an entire infamous career, in addition to being a war criminal, of looting artifacts from different parts of Gaza and Palestine and storing them in his own home. But also in the 1970s and 80s, Israeli forces, alongside Israeli archaeologists, looted a 4,500-year-old Canaanite cemetery.
You know why am I not surprised? This is exactly what they do. Stealers and robbers, all for financial gain, just total disregard for history, total disregard for the sanctity of death, just total disregard.
Located in Deir el-Balah, my hometown, and they took anything they could carry to the Israel National Museum. And today I go on the internet and I see artifacts that were stolen and looted from the site being sold around the world. And that makes you wonder if Israel's practices today are a new phenomenon or just a continuation of a long-standing pattern of
It's a continuation of something that has been used upon the Palestinian people for decades. This is all tactical and it's a continuation. You understand? It is definitely a repeat cycle. It is definitely a continuation of what they've been doing to the Palestinians for decades in the form of oppression.
destruction and looting of Palestinian history and culture. In this war alone, Palestinians in Gaza have lost towering figures in their society who shaped and defined the cultural and scholarly life in Gaza. And if there's
So it's not like you just killed, these people were worthless people that you can say were casualties and they weren't worth anything. No, you actually killed people that not only had so much to offer to their own people, but had so much to offer to the world. And we're talking about people who were very, very high in knowledge, very, very educated, those that could have led a whole world into a new world. And this is what you killed. And sadly, sadly, as I said before, there is no reconciliation to what you have done. There will be no reconciliation. The only reconciliation the Israelis will meet is death. Death is the only reconciliation for what you have done, for what you have taken. Death is the only thing that is satisfactory. Follow Street Icon on all social media platforms. At Street Icon 1 on the X platform. At Street Icon 8080 on the YouTube platform. Street Icon on all other social media platforms. Drop a comment in the comment section and let me know how you feel about the story that I presented to you guys today. I'm pretty sure that the whole world is privy to what's going on between Israel and Palestine. Drop a comment in the comment section and always remember, stay vigilant, stay safe, peace.